Hello, everyone. My name is Charlie Barsh, and I did my presentation on Denmark Vesey, and I will be presenting some of my reasoning about why I believe he's important to history. And yeah, please enjoy. Just starting at his early life, he was born in 1767 in St. Thomas, which at the time was in the Danish West Indies. Present day, it is technically in the U.S. Virgin Islands, in the Caribbean. It was believed to be that he was born into slavery and eventually settled in Charleston, South Carolina, on a plantation there. There isn't much knowledge on how many plantations he worked on, or if he just worked on one. And eventually he did buy his freedom by winning the lottery. And so he was able to pay out for that and eventually became a carpenter, and married another enslaved woman named Beck, who they later had a few kids together with. And as much as he tried, he was never able to get the master to budge on freeing them. He tried paying for their freedom, hence why he became a carpenter. But he just believed that they were too much of an asset to his occupation and his wherever the master was plantation was growing at the time. So this is a big part of Vesey's life, which was the Mother Emanuel Church. He was a member of it. It was located in Charleston, and it's a African Methodist church. Mother Emanuel was Vesey's kind of stomping grounds for preaching to the other African Americans about how slaves are the new Israelites, and believed that the rebellion wouldn't nearly have been as large if not for the joined members of the church. And he believed that they were the new Israelites because they felt like the slaves back in Egypt, that were trying to escape Pharaoh, and he was inspired and wanted to follow in those footsteps. So eventually the church did burn down in 1822 due to the association with Vesey, and was the key planning grounds for his rebellion. And out of anger, some people commit arson. It was later built, and it is standing, as you can see, today. So, okay, a little bit about the slave revolt. That never actually happened. The plan was for 9,000 enlists to join the rebellion under Vesey's command, and wanted to attempt the executioning of slave owners. He was inspired by the Haitian Revolution, which we learned about in the class. And it took place, and wanted to do the same in Charleston, but allowed for more time, causing the secret mission to be exposed. He wanted to get it right, and decided to make an extension. And eventually one of the slaves leaked it, and they all got screwed. So according to some historians, this rebellion could have been one of the largest in history, and potentially have changed the slave laws earlier than it was, before Lincoln's speeches and for his abolishment of slavery. Moving on to Vesey's death. One of the slaves, as I talked about earlier, spilled the beans to one of the masters before the slave revolt happened, causing a court hearing. After the court ruling in 1822, Vesey was executed for his attempts, and it wasn't just him. It was also 34 other slaves who were tried and found guilty upon their actions of the revolt. They were all charged with attempting to raise an insurrection, and they were all later lined up and hung in the streets of Charleston. And the photo up there is just a painting from the courthouse where they had their hearings. That's about it. Yes, thank you so much for listening. Hope you enjoyed the presentation.